Welcome back to Real Talk with Brian and Dan. I'm Brian.
And I'm Dan.
This next segment features one of our recommended lenders. Today on the Loan Depot hotline, we have Michael Burdick, a loan originator and consultant with Loan Depot. Michael does not just originate loans, but works toward building a relationship with every client. Our team has recommended and worked with Michael over the years, and he has served our clients at a very high level. Please welcome Michael to the show.
Hey, Mike.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. Hey, thanks for joining us today. So tell us, what's going on in the mortgage world?
That is a good question. So,
well, let's have a good answer.
Yeah.
All right. What's going on? One thing that's awesome and always a good thing for us originators is that interest rates have improved this year, especially in the last couple of weeks. They're probably at about 12 to 14-month lows right now. So what that does for us is it allows us to not only help new clients that are purchasing homes, but then our past clients, doing mortgage reviews for them, making sure that, if we can give them a better payment, we can do that. So that's one thing that's great. Another thing that's new in the mortgage world is, trying to become more streamlined and, allowing the digital age come to life and, all the processes that we do, just making sure that we're, ahead of the curve, ahead of the competition. And that's one thing that we're really concentrating on at Loan Depot.
Okay. So you say, interest rates are pretty low. Give me some context. I know that, essentially these are tied to certain loan programs and credit availability and all that good stuff. But I don't look at mortgage rates. I let my clients, talk to you and kind of dig deeper.
Can you share a range?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a very good strategy for a realtor because you don't want to set your client up and say, rates are 4%, and then they talk to me and they're 5%.
Right.
Because there's lots of factors.
I'm not an expert there. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and there's an algorithm, and once we talk and we realize their plan and their personal finances, then we can narrow it down and say, okay, these are your options, your personal options. They might be different than your friend or your colleague, but this is what your rates are. But if you have the vanilla 800 credit, 20% down guy, conforming conventional loan, you're going to be in the low fours right now.
Low fours. So, wow, that's awesome.
You could probably pay a little bit to get to the high threes, but we would just have to see if that would make sense for them.
Okay. So, and that's like you said, the streamlined with 20% down, all that great credit above 800. Where do you think they're headed?
So that's a loaded
You had a crystal ball there?
Yeah. Can you look at the crystal ball?
It's my answer right now is probably a lot different than it was a few months ago because, all the news and all the updates that we receive and research at all the websites that we look at over the course of last year was that rates will hike in 2019, and they're going to continue to do that gradually. And now the Fed is saying they're pumping the brakes a little bit, and they're saying, well, maybe the economy is not ready for that. So they're saying that they should stabilize. They might come up a little bit, but I don't think that they're going to go too high in 2019, which is a good thing for buyers.
It's a little bit of stability there.
Yeah.
So, Michael, if a buyer were to get approved today, how long is that approval good for?
So when we run credit, that credit report lasts for 120 days. And then we're going to collect pay stubs, bank statements, and those last for about 30 days on the pay stubs and then a couple months on the bank statements. So really they've got quite a bit of time. That credit report, if we stretch it out past 120 days, we can just repull. So it's quick to
so you can update it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Good.
And then to speak on my first point about the technology, we're able to get these oftentimes digitally verified, so we can do the application and we get their income and their assets digitally verified, so they don't even have to track that stuff down. So that can, if we expire on a bank statement or a pay stub, we can just hit the button again and get it updated really quickly.
So are you seeing many appraisal waivers in this market?
More than we used to. Again, that's going to be on a 20% down client We are seeing them on the refinance more than purchase, but that is something that we hope improves, and we're seeing more and more of them, which is awesome.
So for the listeners out there, an appraisal waiver is what?
Michael, go ahead. I'll take it if you
Expert.
don't.
Yeah, when we're doing an application, and whether we're looking at Zillow or just have an idea of what that house is worth, and we plug that in, we run our decision. It's all through an automated decision engine, and if that engine agrees with what we've inputted, we can proceed without ordering an appraisal.
Does that save the consumer money?
It does, yeah, absolutely, because we don't need to get an appraisal.
And time.
Sure.
Absolutely.
All right. So this is a show about homes and real estate, and we're talking real estate. And I didn't even put this on the question sheet, but can you tell us a story about your home and your experience growing up in the home that you grew up in? I think was also in Sammamish, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. The home that I grew up in Sammamish, that's what you're asking about?
Yeah, something fond, something that you remember.
Your home
from your
story.
childhood. Yeah.
Well, it's a funny story. So I grew up by Pine Lake in Sammamish, and my parents wanted to move us down to Lake Sammamish, and I was in tears. I didn't want to leave the neighborhood, because this was a neighborhood I rode my bike around, had a bunch of friends. Later, found out that moving on to Lake Sammamish was actually a good thing. And just seeing the way my parents had seeing the way my parents had invested, and kind of lucked out, just with the market and how they were able to, buy properties and then watch the equity grow. And that's something that's always drawn me to this industry. It's just the American dream. So it's something that I can really get behind and get excited about. So yeah, I'm a hometown guy. Worked here and lived here my whole life.
Awesome.
That's
Thank
great.
you for sharing that.
Yeah, thanks, Michael.
Absolutely.
Thanks for being part of the show. Up next, our first guest, or I guess our second guest, is a memory saver. That's right. All those memories that you have laying around your home, stick with us. We'll be right back.
Before we go, I'm sorry.
Go ahead. No, hit it.
A little miscommunication. Michael, are you still there? Did I lose
Yep,
you?
I'm here.
Oh, you're still there?
Nope,
Hey, how do callers get a hold of you?
Well, I am on the internet, so you can Google Michael Burdick Loan Depot, but the best number for me is 206-661-2289, and give me a call or send me an email once you look me up online.
All right. Thanks again, Michael.
Thanks, Michael.
We'll
Thanks,
be
Dan.
right back.